Hello and welcome yet again to another incredible opportunity here at the Adventures of Entrepreneurship. I'm of course your first mate. This is Captain Clay. Captain Clay, you doing well this morning?
Yeah, and I want to just give a quick disclaimer to people watching. A lot of times people say that, the camera can take away 30 pounds and make you look incredibly handsome. I'm not normally this beautiful.
This is true. Well, Clay, for those people out there that have seen the past few episodes, or for those that haven't, but they're wondering how to start a business, One area that we were talking about this morning is finding an area of poor service and then filling that need. Could you expound on that a little bit more?
Well, I think that everybody watching this, we've all probably been to an airline where they charge for baggage, right? And and you get on the plane, and you're trying to check in. They say, "Are you going to check a bag?" No, I'm going to travel 12 hours away, someplace far enough where I'd have to fly with just what I have on.
Right.
So then, and then they say, "Oh, there'll be a fee for this," and then, did you want? And they just keep nickel and diming you, and pretty soon you end up spending $150 extra on getting the baggage. And really, what you never want to make your customers feel like that. You want to have an all-inclusive price. You want to nickel and dime people. Well, then you have Southwest Airlines that does all the baggage. Basically, can travel with you, and there's no extra charge for that. So if you've been on an airplane, you've experienced bad service. If you've been to a gas station where the coffee tastes like brown water that's from a pond, that kind of thing that's been heated, again, that's areas of poor service. And the main thing as an entrepreneur is every time you see or experience an area of poor service, you need to look at that as an opportunity to improve. You know what I mean? So
right.
You're looking for an ability to an area of like, oh, this could be an opportunity. And once you get that mindset, you get to a point where there's always business opportunities coming up. You never actually stop thinking of them. You just have to decide which ones are worth your time.
I gotcha. Now, how do you get to that point? How do you get to that point? I know in listening to the Seeds conference from Church on the Move, they talk about training your brain to think of creativity, to train yourself, and even to the point of letting your subconscious kind of marinate on these kinds of things. And Whit in particular talks about how when he's in the shower, he is just things are constantly rolling in his brain, and that's typically when he has his biggest breakthroughs in terms of creativity. But he has trained himself to constantly think about that. So in terms of an entrepreneur, what are some steps you can take to train yourself to be looking for these opportunities?
Well, I'm going to pick on you to use you as a case study.
Okay.
As a general rule, would you say that you're around positive people?
Yeah, absolutely.
But has there been a time in your life where you're around negative people?
I don't know that it goes as far as to say negative people, but definitely not people that think in terms of entrepreneurship.
Well, if you're watching this, I just ask you, are you around positive people that are entrepreneurship focused, or are you around people that are maybe negative or against business ideas? Because what you're going to find is that if you think of a good idea and you're around entrepreneurs, they'll help you nurture that idea, water that idea, help you grow that idea, and say, you know what, that's a great idea. One thing you could do is, and you start, or if you don't have any ideas, you're around these guys so much, you start to see how they think. So I think the key to answering your question is solid mentorship. I think anybody watching this program right now should think of who is one person I want to be with once a week, twice a week, that I can, some of what they have can rub off on me. Who can I be mentored by? And then the second is just be solution orientated. Anytime you see a problem, don't think about it, think about the problem, think about the solution to it. And if you do that, ideas will just constantly come to you. I guess one example would be on the bakery right now. We're doing deliveries, and I want to make sure that the quality of every item is great. And I also want to make sure that the customers know who delivered the cake. So I've been thinking about how do I make sure that the quality is great, and how do I make sure the customers know who delivered the cake. So we came up with this new quality control sticker, and on it says the cake was lovingly designed by, and you have to initial it. And then it was meticulously inspected by, and they have to initial it. And then on there it has our website and our logo, but it's the last sticker that goes on the box before it's shipped out. So one, it makes sure that somebody else is inspecting it, someone's making it, being held accountable, but also lets the customer know that we did that and who made it. So it's a great way to solve that problem. So the big thing is surrounding yourself with people that are encouraging, one, and then two, thinking about solutions instead of just problems.
Nice. That's incredible. So, okay, now we figured out how to think this way, or at least to begin to think this way. Now, how would you go about finding out what the competition does poorly? Like in terms of the cake business, the bakery, how do you find out what someone else is doing, how they're doing it poorly, and then implement the way to do it better than them?
I'm going to give you 2 tips on this. You might write this off as a party foul. I'm not going to give you, this is Adventures in Entrepreneurship, not Adventures in Integrity, but I think your integrity should be the same all the time. You shouldn't like have different ethics for business and not business, but I'm going to give you how I would do it, and you can kind of decide if you agree with it. One is I would mystery shop. I would actually buy a product or service from your competition. So if I had a bakery and I wanted to know what your bakery is doing better than mine, I would simply go and buy a cake from you. I would sit down, I'd do the appointment, I'd book the cake, I'd buy the cake, I'd get the cake delivered. I would see what you're doing better than I am. That's one. And 2 is I would mystery shop myself. I would actually hire somebody to come in my company and act like they're a customer for me. I don't know who they are, or my staff doesn't know who they are, and I want them to tell me what they did, what our competition did better than us, and how we stack up against them. So I love using the mystery shopper. Quick Trip uses the mystery shoppers. I know there's quite a few fast food companies that use the mystery shopper. A lot of retail stores use mystery shoppers. Basically, you're hiring somebody to purchase products and services and act as though they're a real customer, and then to give you candid feedback. And they're unbiased because they don't work for you all the time. They're kind of an independent consultant.
That's incredible. I think that's a really great way of finding that out.
For the record, his mother is now not officially a mystery shopper anymore. She's actually, she's told him, well, Jared, I'm just spying, but really she's just buying. She really likes his Shut on a Dime services, and she's very loyal. And anyway.
One question that has come in here: how is my mother coming up in every conversation that we have?
Well, based on the complaints we get on the email inbox.
Nice. This actually is an email question that came in. How do you get your employees to care whether your company is offering good or poor service?
I think one is you just have to have rewards and penalties. So, example would be if I worked for you, and by the way, this guy has an incredible auto detailing business, and so let's just say that I was detailing cars, which I wouldn't be because I am probably the most non-manual labor kind of individual you'll ever meet. But anyway, I'm detailing cars, and I finish, and the car does not have the shine. And it was delivered late, and I ran into a pole on the way to the person's house.
Right. Another
guy gets it done on time, gets it, the car's looking clean, gets to the customer, doesn't hit any poles, it's looking great. And then the guy in the middle, he gets there a little bit late, but it looks clean. How do those 3 different people get paid? And I would argue that rewards and penalties is the best way to do it. A meritocracy, paying people based on their merits, not based on their intentions. So if you're watching this and you've got employees or someone on your team, I would make sure that the person who gets it done on time with the best service possible makes about 30% more than the person who just does their job. And I would recommend that the person who consistently messes up is told candidly what they're doing wrong and is offered an opportunity to improve it. And at which point, if you live in a right to work state like Oklahoma, I would fire them if they don't improve.
There you have it. Anything else you'd like to add today, Clay?
Well, I think the main thing, if you're watching this today, is that if you're out there and you're kind of going, what is the big idea? How am I going to come up with a business idea? How am I going to improve? I don't really know how I'm going to get out of the rut I'm in. Just look around, put your antenna up, look around for problems, look around for things that frustrate you, and see if you can come up with a solution or an invention, a product, a company that can meet that problem.
There you have it. This is today's episode of Adventures in Entrepreneurship. Once again, I'm Jared. This is Captain Clay. We'll see you next time.
Hey.
That's the best thing.